Hi, welcome to Garden Devotions. That's really not a devotion. This one is going to be about kind of the crafty side of me because I didn't really remember that I was crafty. I had forgotten because of the illness from the chronic fatigue syndrome until my dog was so sick, and when she couldn't stand up on her own, I mean, we still took walks and everything, and so she was still mobile, she was still very alert, and I could interact with her and everything, but she couldn't stand up on her own. So I kind of moved everything into the bedroom so I could keep an eye on her, and if she needed something, I could be there to help her stand up if she needed to. So I needed something to keep myself busy, and her wheelchair needed a sling to hold her in. And so, well, it needed a harness of some kind, and I came up with a sling, and I crocheted it. So I had forgotten that I crocheted. I mean, really, seriously, it'd been like 30 some years since I crocheted. Probably more like 40, maybe more. And I just had forgotten that I knew how to do it. I just always did, I guess. And so I went to the store, the Joann store, and got a hook, a big honkin' hook, and some the cheapest I could find yarn, and I made her a sling to set in there, and it actually worked very well. It was adjustable because I had screws on both sides of the PVC pipe, so if I needed it tighter to hold her up more, I could do that, or I can make it looser, so it fit perfectly. I mean, it was really good. It worked very well. There was some tweaking I had to do, but it was not pretty. But then I was kind of stuck in the bedroom. I mean, I had my computer and I could write, but I was so tired. It's really hard to be creative when you're so tired. So my writing suffered, and I decided, okay, well, let's do something different. And I figured, well, I got this crochet hook. That was kind of fun doing that. So let's see what else I can make. Well, you can make afghans. So, I started, and it's like, this is boring. There's got to be more that I could do. So I went to YouTube and I put in crochet, and all of a sudden it exploded. I mean, pretty much crochet whatever you put in, you can find a video on YouTube. So I started crocheting little animals, the amigurumi, and their mosquitoes are coming out, so I can't stay long, but most of what I want to show you is inside anyway, but there's not a lot of light, so there's light out here. I can do that as long as the mosquitoes don't attack. Anyway, so I started doing the little amigurumi, and I did hats, and I just started doing all kinds of stuff with crochet. So then I started finding other crafty things that I wanted to do, and it really became kind of a way of dealing with Rennie's death in a lot of ways. So, yeah, I know she was just a dog, but she was really my best friend, and so much of my life was tied into hers that when she was gone, it was like my entire routine was stripped away from me. Serious. It was like all of a sudden I had nothing. It's like somebody who works at a job and they're like the type A personality where they're a workaholic, and then all of a sudden they have no job, and it just is, your whole world has just been turned upside down. And so that's what it was for me. And doing the amigurumi really helped. And then, like I said, I started doing hats, and I started doing all different kinds of stuff. And I really enjoyed it. I wanted to do some little amigurumi for my local writers group. They're called Book Builders. So I wanted to do something for the book builders. And each one of them, I had an idea of what I wanted to do. One girl really liked Pikachu, or Pokemon, and so I made a little Pikachu for her. Another girl liked pandas, so I made a panda for her. Another guy had dogs, and so I made a dog for him. And one girl's really a fan of Young Justice, so I made a Magan doll for her. And so I was really enjoying doing this. One of the guys is writing, really the bugs are getting bad. One guy is writing a high fantasy comedy, or dramedy he called it, and it has a character in it that's a kobold, which tells me nothing, but it's like a cross between a dragon and a crocodile, I guess. So I found a dragon pattern and I modified it to fit who his character was. And if I can find, I'll put a picture in here. There would be a good place for it. So I'll put the picture in. But I needed, when I got to the eyes, I did the eyes and they were okay, but they weren't really what I wanted. So I looked on YouTube, of course, and I came across Yvonne Williams' Eye of Sauron Dragon Eye painting tutorial. And I'll tell you what, her tutorials are wonderful. Yvonne Williams, really, look for her. She does wire wrapping and she does polymer clay and she does just a bunch of different stuff. And it was like all of a sudden that crafty person that has not been around for years and years and years because I was teaching suddenly just appeared again. So I was thrilled. Well, I shouldn't say because I was teaching, because before I got chronic fatigue syndrome, I did a lot of crafty things. I sewed my own clothes, I baked bread, I baked awesome croissants. I did a lot of my own stuff, you know, but then I couldn't anymore once I got sick. I just really physically could not do any of that. I even had to give my guitar away the other day, well, it's within the last year. I don't remember exactly when it was, but it was a sad day for me. It was hard for me to acknowledge that I couldn't play guitar anymore. I just can't. I can't keep the strumming. I can't. And I can't build my muscles up because it just doesn't work that way with chronic fatigue. I play saxophone and clarinet as well, and I have not given them away, but I really can't play them, and I hesitate to even try because it really wipes me out. It tires me out a lot. It takes a lot of energy to do the breath, to have the breath, and to keep your embouchure right, and just, yeah. And it makes me very sad. And even music, I've had to tone back on my music just listening to it, because sometimes, I should say a lot of times, constant sustained noise of any kind wears me out. Like if I sit and try to watch a TV show for very long, usually I have to shut it off after 15-20 minutes and just rest, because it does take a lot out of me. When the political debates, I really liked politics, but I don't put them on this channel. I'm working on another channel, Truthification Chronicles, for my political stuff, so don't worry, I'm not going to do that here. But I really liked watching the debates, and those wore me out tremendously as well. So I figured I kind of liked doing this craft thing, and when I painted the dragon eyes for my friend's dragon or kobold or whatever, I really enjoyed doing that, and so I started painting lots of them because they came in a bag of 60, so I had 60 of them to play with. And you use nail polish and everything, and I had, you can do a lot more than just one with the nail polish, and so I played around with it. I did a lot, and the nail polish was cheap from the Dollar Tree. Everything was $1, so that's what I did. So a big part of me right now is crafty, and I really did not anticipate that. It's kind of one of God's pleasant surprises in life, because I've started making some jewelry, some rings and some bracelets and necklaces and stuff, and earrings, and I'm really getting into scale mail, and I'm going to try to combine it with my crocheting with thread, which is like you use for doilies and things. And so I like doing doilies, I like crocheting with thread, and I figured, yeah, okay, well, we're kind of combining them, and so I'm trying new things, and I'm really enjoying that. But I have to do it in limited bouts because it does tire me. So what I'm going to do is every once in a while I'm going to put in a crafty video. I hope you don't mind. I'm giving it a different cover so you'll know what it is, so you won't think, oh, well, that wasn't a devotion. Okay, so I'm going to do that just to make sure that you understand it's a crafty one. And if you like crafts, that's fine. If you don't like crafts, that's fine. I'm not showing you how to do stuff really that much. I'm just kind of showing you what I'm working on to give you ideas, I guess, or just to kind of show the crafty side of me, I guess. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So today, I've been working on my very first polymer clay sculpture, and I can tell you, I have never done a sculpture before. I have done little dragon eyes in polymer clay, which is a type of sculpture, I guess, but this is like a sculpture. I have never done it before, and I'm realizing now that I did a very poor job of the armature inside. So I really need better armature when I do the next one. And I don't know how this is going to end up, but I thought maybe I'd give you a little peek at what I've been doing. It's not done yet, and I'll probably have another video later on after I get it done. Right now I'm trying to decide, okay, do I want to bake it at this stage and then go ahead and put another layer of clay over it once it's hard? Because it really is, I did a very poor job on the armature, and so things aren't holding up. I went to the chiropractor, I came home, and it's a dragon, and the dragon's hands had fallen off. So yeah, I needed better than that. So I figured if I can just, maybe inspire somebody and just kind of show you the things that I'm doing, and that I'm not just all chronic fatigue, and I'm not just all garden. There's different aspects to my life, and this is one of them. So I hope you'll enjoy. I'll show a few things off. See you in a bit. Okay, here I am. I'm doing my first sculpture in polymer clay. And right now what I've done is I've taken some 16 gauge wire and made kind of a basic form. Hopefully it's going to end up being a dragon. We'll see what happens. And I got the tail up here and then sweeping around, and then, and I keep losing parts of it. It's just I've heard that the aluminum foil allows you to do bigger sculptures with polymer clay, because I'm going to be using like Sculpting, because then it first of all, you don't use as much clay, and secondly, you have more chance of it cooking on the inside. It's not as thick, because see, if you had a piece like this and it was all the way, this is kind of thick in here, and it might take a very long time to bake, and then other parts might burn. And so this is what I've gleaned so far. But like I said, this is my very first one, and I am not a sculptor. I have never sculpted anything in my life. So here is my first attempt. Like I said, I've kind of got it. Don't worry, it just because, the wire and the everything is like it is, doesn't mean I can't make some basic changes. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do for the body part. I do want some body here, and I'm going to have the scales, the spikes coming down. So I don't know, and I want to put glass eyes in up here, so I've got to measure to see. I'm not sure they'll actually, the ones that I have, I think they'll be pretty big, but I think I can work around that. And of course I'll have horns and things, so I'm still, this piece keeps coming off. But this is where I'm at right now, and this is how I'm starting. So again, I have never sculpted anything before, so we'll see. I'm kind of crafty, but not really artistic, so we'll find out if this is going to actually look like a dragon when I get done or not. So this is it. I'll check back in once I get some clay on here. See you in a bit. Okay, I've been working on this for about an hour and a half now. Putting on the first round of clay, adding a few details. I wasn't intending on having arms, but they just kind of like it needed it. Now I do have wings to put on the back, but the wings are still in the works with the wire. I'll put them in and then put clay over it. This is a tail that I have coming up, and some of it'll be different when I get the scales and stuff on, it'll look different. But I'm kind of pleased with how it's coming out. It's starting to look dragonish. Again, I'm not too worried about smoothing out the clay at this point, because it'll still have more on top. Plus, there's going to be a round of scales on top of it, which is going to take forever to do because I'm going to do them individually. At this point, I'm planning on that. But yeah, I really kind of, it looks pretty dragonish. The ice, I'm trying to leave space for small round cabochons that I will paint. And I think, let's just reach over here and get this one. This is how big they're gonna be. So I think it'll work really well. Actually, I think that'll be pretty much, and then I'll build around it. And I said that this was my first sculpture. It actually, I have sculpted dragon eyes, just the eyes, but they're small. Here, sorry about that. This is what I've been doing. Dragon eyes like this, but it goes like this. And so I have done this, but I just haven't done a sculpture like this. So I'm kind of excited about how this looks. It's starting to come together much better than I thought it would. And again, I am not a sculptor. This is not something I'm used to doing, but I really do think it's going to come out kind of awesome. Again, I had to put this up and over the tail. So I did put some wire in there and then some aluminum foil. And on the claws, I do plan on putting actual claws on the end. So I probably will thicken them somewhat and maybe it will be longer when I put the nail part of it on there. So anyway, this is where I'm at right now. I have to stop because I have to go to the chiropractor with my parents, but so far so good. And of course, a lot of the smaller details I'm going to worry about later, you know, when you get the first original done. But this is the tail, like I said, that's coming up, and then I'm not sure how I'm going to fill out in there, but I really, gosh, I like this. This aluminum foil really helps you get a good base, and then, you know, it makes it much easier to put the clay on and make it look like something. So I am really excited. I actually did try a little pony, but the pony came out looking stupid. It looked like something a little kid had done in kindergarten. So yeah, that is not part of it. But this I like so far. And I'm anxious to see how everything really keeps coming together. In the mouth, I plan on adding teeth in the mouth. And, you know, I think there'll be individual teeth, so that's going to be a little tedious. But again, those are the kind of details that I think will really help. And then, like I said, with the scales, I intend to have scales on him. And yeah, I'm pretty good so far with it. It's not the most fantastic thing in the world, but so far I'm pleased because of my skill level. This is a good place for it to be. Now, I'm doing this on parchment paper. I've had a lot of success with parchment paper. If I were making much bigger than this, I really would want to have more armature, something a little more solid, because even with this, I'm going to have to put it on the thing that I usually, piece of cardboard that I usually take it and bake it on. But yeah, the parchment paper is nice, and that's what I've been putting my polymer clay things on so far. But I take them, my oven's not working, so I take them to my parents' house, and then I get them, I cook them there. So I'm excited about this. I think it's going to work very well, and he's going to look pretty dragonish by the time I get it done. So stay tuned. I'll show you later as I get more done. See ya.